Hey, this is really, really interesting because there's a viral video floating around now of Senator Brian Schatz just eviscerating Republican Senator Josh Hawley over his attempts to delay Joe Biden's Defense Department nominees. And the video is great because of the substance and because of the content. But the video is also great because it's a reminder of the strategy that Democrats should be taking when it comes to fighting Republicans. And, remember when Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. And I've said many times before, we should not go down to their level of lying and these corrosive attacks on democracy in order to win. Like we shouldn't do that. But when it comes to rhetoric and style and tone and strategy, we absolutely need to be doing some of the things that the right does, because otherwise we're just going to keep losing. So let's get to this video clip. In this video clip, you are going to hear Senator Schatz really just crush Josh Hawley, who was, by the way, one of the main pro-insurrection senators. Let's listen, and then we'll discuss.
He could have brought his floor charts out here and given a withering speech about all of the things that he thought went wrong. But he's doing a very specific thing. He is damaging the Department of Defense. We have senior DOD leaders.
Right.
We have the Armed Services Committee coming to us and saying, I don't know what to tell him. I don't know how to satisfy him, but he is blocking the staffing of the senior leadership at the Department of Defense. And this comes from a guy who raised his fist in solidarity with the insurrectionists.
True.
And this comes from a guy who, before the Russian invasion, suggested that maybe it would be wise for Zelensky to make a few concessions about Ukraine and their willingness to join NATO.
Oh, boy.
This comes from a guy who just about a month ago voted against Ukraine aid. He's saying it's going too slow. He voted no. He voted no on Ukraine aid, and now he has the gall to say it's going too slow. And this final insult is that until, Secretary Austin resigns? That's not a serious request. People used to come to me during the Trump administration all the time. Do you think Trump should resign? Do you think Tillerson should resign? That's a stupid, of course, I think all the people I disagree with should quit their jobs and be replaced with people I love. Of course, I think they should all resign. That's not how this world works. That is not a reasonable request from a United States senator, that until the Secretary of Defense quits his job, I'm going to block all of his nominees. That's preposterous. And coming from a person who exonerated Donald Trump for extorting Zelensky for withholding lethal aid. They withheld lethal aid unless Zelensky would release false smears against Joe Biden's son. And then he voted to exonerate President Trump for this. And so spare me the new solidarity with the Ukrainians and with the free world, because this man's record is exactly the opposite.
Who could say that a single word of that is wrong? And of course, Brian Schatz is right. And you know the stories. You know the Ukraine story. You know the Josh Hawley insurrection story. So this is less about the facts. That rant, which is not, listen, it's a soundbite, but it's a 2-minute and 20-second soundbite. It's for our modern expectations that these things need to be 20 seconds long to go viral. It's 2 minutes and 20 seconds long, and it's more substantive, and it's still got over 3 million views. It might even be up to 4 at this point. So there is an appetite for this type of attitude from the Democratic Party. And this is the attitude that the Democratic Party needs to take. Hone the anger and keep calling out the worst of the worst for their BS individually. Don't speak generally. Speak individually. Josh Hawley does a bad act, another humiliating part. I'm not going to vote to approve anybody, confirm anybody to DOD until Trump's Secretary of Defense resigns. Biden's Secretary of Defense resigns. Give me a break. That's absurd. You're a senator. You're one of 100. You understand how government works. And it's absurd that so many pretend that their supposed concerns are genuine. It's just nonsense politically. It's political nonsense. And so Democrats need to be making the statements. And I'm going to use the term performing, and I don't use that pejoratively. Democrats are often right on substance, but they're not performing in the right way, and it doesn't get any attention. There is enough fodder from Republicans, from what they are doing, from their hypocrisies and double standards and absurdities, for one of these viral eviscerations of a Republican basically every day. Now, you do it every day, it won't get as much attention, but certainly every week. And part of the issue is that Democrats don't really have a media outlet that approaches the power of Fox News. I mean, you've got a 24/7 propaganda agenda-setting institution in Fox News. And even if only a few million people watch Fox News at any one point in time, their agenda-setting power is significant. And then you start seeing the same talking points everywhere else. This is sort of what Rush Limbaugh created, where it was the agenda-setting power. And so Democrats end up trying to catch up and on defense. And a lot of people I know are going to say, but David, what about MSNBC? MSNBC is a center-left corporate media network, and it is not the other side of the coin of Fox News. It's just not. It's not even close. It's not what it is. And it needs to be said and repeated endlessly. Unless the left starts doing more stuff like this, and this is just one thing. You might say, but David, this won't change anyone's vote. This might change a few votes, but it's not going to be enough to defeat Josh Hawley. I don't even think he's up for election. Maybe he is. I don't know if he's up this time around. Doesn't matter. But the point is, this is the attitude that needs to be present everywhere as a minimum. It won't even guarantee victory, but it's got to change. It's got to change because Democrats are just not doing it in the right way.